At land-grant universities across the country, students from all walks of life earn an education that is scholarly and practical.
My world has been changed by the opportunities for me to study here at CSU. That creates a responsibility to be able to give back through research and to be able to change the world after me, one person at a time.
Research and innovation shared with the community to solve real-world problems. And the greatest innovation may have been the creation of our country's land-grant universities.
If there's one quintessential element of what it means to be a land-grant university, it was taking that most American of things, the importance of the individual, and saying, for the first time anywhere in the world, that access to a university degree should depend on your talent, your motivation, and not what your family did for a living.
Up until 150 years ago, higher education was for the elite. That changed in 1862 with Justin Smith Morrill's Act, granting to each state land for a university.
They used a resource that they weren't fully utilizing, or even utilizing, i.e. land, and they multiplied it into education. And our country had a lot more land than it did education, and it worked. It's one of those historical institutions that we can be very proud of.
'1862 was a year of vivid contrasts. In this one year, the Transcontinental Railroad opened the West. The Homestead Act gave people land. The Emancipation Proclamation gave freedom, and the Morrill Act gave opportunity for education, all instituted against the bloody backdrop of war.
Everyone tells me that I try to do too many things at once. Look at Lincoln. He was in the middle of a civil war. He was trying to build a transcontinental railroad, and he created land-grant colleges all within the space of 18 months.
You think about how much courage it took Lincoln, not only to conduct the Civil War, but to find a way to create a system of higher education institutions in every state when the country had no money.
On July 1st, the 7 Days battle ends at Richmond, and Lee has lifted the siege of Richmond, Virginia, and now McClellan and the Union armies are in full retreat toward the capital. Lincoln, the next day, July 2nd, is sitting at his desk and signs the Morrill Act and creates this concept of a university in every state in a nation that may well not exist in a couple months if this war effort doesn't change its direction.
Just as the railroads opened the West to the rest of the country, the Morrill Act opened avenues of access to higher education to virtually anyone with the ambition to learn and the will to take that knowledge back into their communities.
There was absolutely nothing like it before. This changed the makeup of the entire country.
For the developers of Colorado, education was vital. Training the next generation was one of the sure signs of stability. No self-respecting state was going to get very far without state universities and state agricultural universities.
There were less than 5 high schools in the state of Colorado when the Colorado Agricultural College opened its doors in 1879. Almost immediately, people who had supported the idea of a land-grant college in Fort Collins wanted to benefit from it. And there's a great letter from a farmer in Springfield asking Harris Stratton, who was the secretary of the State Board of Agriculture, please send information about anything that will grow here.
It was the birth of what would become some of the nation's top research universities, where students and faculty learn and then share their practical knowledge.
I think of land-grant universities really as the first generation institutions in the country. And today at Colorado State University, 25% of our freshmen are first-generation students.
The first person in my family to graduate from a 4-year college. I was able to light that path for my family, and they've been able to look at my journey and see that it is possible, that if Juwan can do it, of course I can do it.
Well,
Good evening.
Juwan Melvin is a first-generation graduate of Colorado State University. After graduating, he started a business and gives back by putting a percentage of company profits into clean water projects in Nicaragua. Today, he continues to reach out to establish partnerships with local service clubs.
Because I know what a difference in education can make in a person's life. I am a testament to that. People change, the buildings come up and come down, but at the end of the day, the values are the same, and those values produce the type of alumni that we see making an impact all around Colorado, the country, and the world.
There's something really pretty unique about how land-grant universities blend research and discovery and that mission to access, as well as wrapping all of that in a pragmatic layer of application that says we're not only going to discover new knowledge and educate the next generation in the use of that knowledge, we're going to apply it for the benefit of society, and we're going to do those three things synergistically.
I'm so happy to be an alumni of a school that does all these awesome things, not only in Colorado, not only in the United States, but internationally.
I appreciate that Colorado State understands its history as a land-grant institution, because 1 in 4 American children today, right now, lives in poverty. 1 in 4. The idea that you have public institutions of higher education who will reach out to kids from those families and make that their priority, I think is central to the survival of our democracy. You have to have an educated populace for our democracy to work.
Knowing that there was an institution that, even coming from a class of 50, that was going to be there, that gave me the skills and the confidence and the wherewithal to be able to do whatever it was that I could hope for or dream about.
This is the Land-Grant University of today, the legacy of the Morrill Act, 150 years in the making and still moving forward.
When they were drawing this thing up and they were hoping that, it would become what it is today, I think they would be more than happy to see this place now and to see how many lives have been changed and families have been bettered because of this.
I feel, and I believe my colleagues at sister land-grant institutions feel, that this is such an important educational idea, that the concept of land-grant universities was so fundamentally revolutionary and yet is still so powerful and vibrant today, that one of the most acute pressures we feel is maintaining that, keeping it healthy, keeping that foundation strong, and preserving that opportunity for the next 150 years.